Hello and welcome to Come to Think of It, the podcast diary program on Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I'm Stuart McMc, today's diarist. Thank you for joining me. Today will be part 2 of my talk on Good Game, the Australian video game review, news and commentary show, which ran on ABC TV from 2006 to 2016. So, as I explained in my previous episode, I became a fan of the show right from the very beginning, and would follow it closely right through its entire history of production. I would not only watch every single episode of the show as it was broadcast, but the day after, I would then download it as an MP4 file from the Good Game's ABC webpage, so that on my computer I would always have a complete archive of the show's entire history, every episode of every season. I could then rewatch any episode whenever I wanted, for as many times as I wanted. By now, I've probably watched every single episode of the show at least 3 times, some as many as 4 or 5 times. Because it is so welcoming to newcomers, always uses the right kind of language, and mixes its reviews with comedy, cartoons, and other segments, the show is very rewatchable. At any moment in time, you could watch any episode from the show's history and have half an hour of enjoyable, relaxing entertainment. This is why Good Game will likely pass the test of time and remain an impressive and important episode in the Australian television historical canon. Similar to other shows like Spicks and Specs, it was designed in a way so that its quality and interest doesn't erode over time, but can remain relevant and interesting even years or decades after originally being broadcast. Of course, there are elements of the show that are time sensitive, such as the games being reviewed and the human interest stories. But because the reviews and commentary are so careful and considered, the show provides us with an objective snapshot of that moment in time for video gaming. We can look at video games as they appear at that moment, seeing their strengths and weaknesses in an honest light. This is very different from first plays, which are often out of date by the time they get published. This means that Good Game could very well become the most valuable resource for archived knowledge when it comes to video games in Australia over the first 2 decades of the 21st century. From what I've been able to tell, listening to interviews of her on ABC Radio and the Good Game Roundtable podcast, the former Good Game executive producer Janet Carr definitely seems like a very fascinating and complex person. On first impressions, she seems so nice and likeable, with such a happy and open style of speaking, with a big smile and liberal sense of humour. But, considering what she's been able to achieve over her career working on Good Game, one really gets the impression that behind the scenes she must be an awfully determined, realistic, hard-nosed, resilient, level-headed, and ruthless person. Speaking of the Good Game Roundtable podcasts, they are a wonderful collection, filled with lots of fascinating content, amusing anecdotes, and honest testimonials. It provides a new and unusual insight into the culture and routine of the Good Game office. It's also a great resource for understanding the origins and history of the show. The one who initiated, organised, and hosted those podcasts, Linji Kong, deserves all the kudos in the world for her work. For most of the other shows on the ABC that I've followed closely, there is only a very limited number of past episodes that I am able to access and download as MP4 files. For Media Watch, it's the previous 4 to 6 episodes. At the movies, it's 4. The Book Club, 10. A very limited number, without any back archives of the previous years of the show being made. So if I didn't find a show until later in its production, or missed episodes for over a month because of a holiday or forgetting about it or something, then they'd be lost forever into the internet ether, and my archives of the show would be forever incomplete. But for both Good Game and Good Game Spawn Point, there is no such limit. You can go back year after year and download every single episode made in the show's entire history, and can re-watch an entire season or seasons of content at any moment. This is a terrific feature for which the Good Game team deserves tons of praise. Good Game's ABC webpage was an excellent resource, not just for me downloading MP4 episode files every week as they came out, but also for me being able to stay connected with my friends and family and classmates and co-workers. If, in a conversation with someone, I discovered that this person is interested in playing a particular game, I can instantly go onto the Good Game webpage, find the review for that game, re-watch it, and remind myself what that was all about, so that I can then have a conversation with that person about what it is about that game that they like. Right as of now, it's been about 5 months since the announcement was made public that Good Game had been cancelled by the edict of ABC management. In the time since, Hex and Nick Boy have more or less disappeared from the public eye. The only news we ever get from them are the occasional posts on Facebook or Twitter, which sometimes includes photos of them sitting in studios and production meetings or convention signing stalls. As far as we are told, they are still working hard behind the scenes preparing for their new show for Channel 7. When exactly that will be aired, we still don't know. Good Game Spawn Point has continued into this year with almost no hiccups or roadblocks. The decision to replace Hex with a combination of both Rad and Goose appears to have worked very well. Barjo, who is now only making one show instead of two, has decided to use his freed up time with other work. He has become a Twitch streamer, building up a small but impressive profile so far, with quite a colourful and wild group of followers. He's streaming regularly every week, filling his YouTube channel with lots of very amusing content. He has said on numerous occasions that he's not sure what the future holds for him. It's uncertain for how much longer Spawn Point will continue, and whether Barjo will remain as one of its hosts. After all, he spent his entire career in television, and seems very uncertain about whether he should take the next step in his career into some new TV project, or perhaps migrate into the uncertain, volatile, yet potentially profitable world of online. So as of now, there are still a lot of issues floating in the air, and it won't be until they come to the ground that we'll be able to make sense of this new post-Good Game landscape. What will Hex and Nick Boy's new show be like? What is the future of Spawn Point and the overall Good Game brand name? What will Barjo do once Spawn Point ends? What does the future hold for Australian video game journalism and media? Where will the Good Game fanbase go for its video game news, commentary and reviews? Only time will answer these questions for us. And that's all the time we have for today. I hope you've enjoyed these 2 episodes talking in detail about Good Game. If you're interested in exploring this further, you should check out the blog I've created in dedication of the show. Go to goodgamememorial.wordpress.com. This has been Come to Think of It on Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I'm Stuart McMc. Thanks for listening to the program. Until next time, goodbye.